Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about the Lian Li Strimer Plus. I'll be going in depth on how to actually connect this unit on its own controller itself and to make use of the controller. Some of the precautions that you need to take note while you're bending this cable, as these strips here are very fragile. And on a bonus point, some of you have actually asked how to actually make use of this Strimer on this Unifan controller, and I'll show you how. Let's get into it. Before I proceed, I'd like to thank Critical Gaming 93, one of my affiliated channel, who have actually supplied me with this unit. Now when you unpack this package itself, right, it comes with a controller, a dual 8-pin strip, a 24-pin strip. Now this is actually the SATA cable where it draws the power from the PSU and to supply to the control unit. Now this cable here, in fact, if you want to bypass the controller itself to do all the effects, you can directly plug to your motherboard aRGB to do the effects. This is actually a cable whereby it's specifically for Lian Li cases like the Lian Li Lenku 2 mesh that has the aRGB fans in front where you can actually have the mode on the case itself. So this is actually for it. Or the O11D dynamic or the XL. And this cable here, right, if you do not purchase it in a set and if you purchase just the 8-pin itself, it comes with this connector whereby you can actually connect it directly here, and the other end, right, you will plug it to your motherboard aRGB. Now having to say this, right, a lot of you have actually tried bending and damage the strip itself, so I'm just going to explain to you how this works. Before you do the actual curve, as you can see, this is actually done. Now take off the strips, I should say, slowly, gently off from the clip, one by one. So when you remove off all this, right, this tension will not be so tight, or should I say tough, so you can actually bend to shape. Once you have actually bent to shape, follow where your connection point, which is actually, this is actually to the motherboard itself, flush your cable, tuck it in. Then work your way up to the end. As you can see on the 8-pin, right, I have actually done this because I wouldn't want to actually clutter all this excess cable to the end over here where you connect this to the power supply. So just to actually hide them behind so that when you look from the front, right, you can actually see the strip. So do remember when you're bending, right, make sure you take off these strips here, or should I say take off this sleeving here off from the clips and do the actual bending. And when you're bending, do not force it, do it gradually. Once you have the bend right, then place all this back, the sleeving back to the clip. Now another thing to take note is that when you're connecting the strips to the control unit itself, as you can see here, now do not force. There's only one way, or should I say, this each cable itself, right, they have dedicated connectors so you won't go wrong. One is actually shorter, one is actually longer. So when you clip it in, right, as you can see, there's two clip over here. It will bite to your controller. I'm not too sure if you can see. Okay, see, over here and over here, it will bite to your controller. And when you plug it in, right, make sure you hold it properly at two ends and push it in. And do not force it all the way in. It will be like this. And when you're removing it, right, kindly do not pull the cable over here. If you're going to pull, all right, you're going to rip it off. So just slide from one side. See, I slide from one side, hold it here, and slide the other side. See, it comes out. So make sure you do not pull the cable. Instead, I'll show you again. This is in. So at the side, just use your nails to push it out. Support and push it out. And the other side, push it out. So slowly when you wiggle, right, it will be out. See? Alright. Now, just to show you how to connect this, as I mentioned, this end here is meant for your strips. So I just connect this, the 24-pin, and this to your dual 8-pin. That's it. And over here, right, if you only want to make use of the controller itself and not the motherboard to control it, all you need is just this SATA cable. Plug to your SATA cable, and this is where you connect the power supply itself. If you wanted to actually connect to your motherboard and bypass this controller, right, you can't just connect the strip directly unless you're actually having only the 8-pin dual 8-pin strips, whereby it gives you this connector here. I'm not going to go in details about this connector. I believe most of you wanted to actually do the control on the control unit itself. But having to say so, right, you have another option whereby it gives you this cable here. This is to actually connect to your control unit. And at the other end, connect this to the aRGB connector of your motherboard. Then there is a function whereby you hold on the M1, which is actually the light effects. There are total of 18 light effects, which I'm going to show you later. Hold on it for 3 seconds, then it will bypass this controller and to sync up with your motherboard itself. As you can see here, I've actually connected the SATA to the power supply and to the control unit itself. Now, the effect you see here, right, there are a total of 18 different effects. The controller itself, you see here, is actually M1, this is M2, this is S, and this is L. I'll explain to you what they are. For M1, right, is to actually generate the 18 effects. This is drizzling, this is cha-cha, boomerang, spectrum, wave, meteor, parallel neo, stairs, snooker, glutinous snake, and collision. Right after all these effects, right, in fact, are all the static colors. As you cycle the static colors on the control unit on M1, if you can see here, so you can switch all the different colors that you wanted. Now, at a point of time, you can actually shut off this streamer itself. See, it's gone. Now, to show you on what are the other functions, let me just switch to wave. Now, if you can see here, this is actually S, this is actually speed, how fast the effect is. See, as I press it, this is faster. I press it again, it's slower. And for L, it's actually the brightness. See, your streamer go brighter and you go dimmer. So select to the brightness that you wanted, the speed that you wanted. And as for M2, this is actually the color cycle, which you can change all the colors. Now, I've actually mentioned to you earlier that if you want to bypass this controller and to make use of the motherboard aRGBs, right, you can. All you need is actually this cable here, which is actually provided. So you just connect this cable here to the center and this to your motherboard. Now, in order to trigger to your motherboard mode, right, you need to actually hold on the M1 button here and hold it for 3 seconds till this thing is off. When this is off, right, you can now actually make use of your motherboard software or the BIOS to actually control the effects itself. Now, speaking of which, right, if you want to make use of the Unifan controller, not a problem. Using back the same connection where you connect to the motherboard itself, right, do not connect this to the motherboard. You will need a converter. I would actually advise you to purchase the aRGB cable kit from Lian Li itself, whereby you can actually convert this standard 3-pin, or should I say 4-pin, 3-pin plug, or should I say a standard aRGB plug to this converter here, and then connect this to the unit. And same, leaving it as a motherboard mode on your controller, this will take control of your effects. I'll show you at my dashboard. I've connected the streamer on the actual controller unit itself, and to connect to the Unifan controller, you need to actually connect this cable that is actually provided with this streamers itself. There is actually the center connection, whereby at the end, right, this end here in fact is actually to your motherboard aRGBs. But instead of using your motherboard aRGB to control the effects, right, you can directly connect it using this converter. Now, the converter you can actually get from Lian Li itself. There's a kit called aRGB cable kit, whereby you can actually convert a standard aRGB plug to be connected to your Unifan controller. So just as a demo purposes, right now it's actually on the main controller itself. Now if I were to press the effect, see, it will just follow. And of course the lightings and the speed itself, I can use the controller to control it. Now having to say so, right, if you want to switch, that means to say bypass this controller and to make use of the Unifan itself, let me just bring the L-Connect application. As you can see here, the pattern on the streamers and on my L-Connect is different. So in order to switch this, right, you will need to press this M1 key on the main controller, hold it for 3 seconds. See, there you have it. This is in fact controlled by the L-Connect itself. You can switch to, let's say, run away. I want to apply. See, it does follow. Or if I want it rainbow, see, it does follow. Or you want static colors, it will follow. Alright, I hope you guys understand how it actually connects this streamer to the Unifan controller. And if you guys like my content, do remember to subscribe to my channel and to click on the notification bell. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.